In Urumqi, more than 1,000 rioters have been arrested for being involved in Sunday's violence. At a press briefing on Tuesday, the city's officials said the situation has been brought under control and all the injured have been hospitalized. Wang Guan takes a look.
Pardon the government officials in Urumqi say local police took emergency measures and effectively contained the spread of riot. Meanwhile, a system is being set up to compensate affected residents for their losses.
As of midnight on Monday, police had arrested more than 1,000 suspects in connection with the riot for interrogation. I'd like to note that the number is not fixed, because those with no evidence of serious crime will be freed. But we will never let a single criminal go without punishment.
The Urumqi Party Secretary said the World Uyghur Congress used the internet to instigate the riot, so relevant departments took measures to control communications. He said restoration of internet access depends on how the situation develops, and he apologized to journalists and residents for the inconvenience. Meanwhile, Mayor of Urumqi said evidence showed that the World Uyghur Congress was behind the violence.
The July 5th violence was premeditated and masterminded by the separatist group World Uyghur Congress led by Rebiya Kadeer. Terrorism, separatism and extremism are behind the riots. The violence has caused great loss of Uyghur people's lives and property.
So far, more than 150 people have been killed and over 1,000 wounded in the violence. Also, more than 200 shops were damaged. Wang Guan, CCTV.
The city of Urumqi imposed a curfew from 9 p.m. on Tuesday to 8 a.m. on Wednesday to avoid further chaos, the ongoing unrest. The secretary of the Xinjiang Uyghur Autonomous Region Committee of the CPC, Wang Lequan, made the announcement in a televised speech on Tuesday. He also called for people to avoid confrontation between ethnic groups in the region. A senior Islamic leader has condemned the violence in Xinjiang. Imam Chen Guangyuan, head of China Islamic Association, said rioters who took part in the violence in Urumqi do not represent the spirit of Islam, and their criminal behavior is not what Muslims should do. Imam Chen called on China's Muslims to unite and firmly against the violence, maintain social stability and the country's territorial integrity. Pan Deng has the story.
China's Muslim society condemns the violence in Xinjiang. Imam Chen Guangyuan says Islam is a religion of peace and Muslims pursue harmony and unity. The rioters' activities are only concerned with separating China and hampering its development.
After the incident on July the 5th, we have received many calls from Muslims around China, strongly condemning the violence and firmly opposing separatist activities. They have also sent their condolences to the victims of the violence.
Imam Chen said their behavior cannot be tolerated in a harmonious society. He called on the country's Muslims not to believe in rumors and stay away from illegal activities.
I hope Muslims uphold the tradition of Islam and maintain China's territorial integrity and economic development. We must unite to condemn and stop violence. We completely agree with law enforcement's strong and swift actions to curb crimes.
So far, the violence in Xinjiang has caused over 150 people dead and more than 1,000 injured. Islam is a peaceful religion. Harmonious ethnic relations should be based on respect and understanding. Violence, rumors and lies would not improve relations among ethnic groups in Xinjiang, but will only cause harm to social stability and people's benefit. Pan Deng, CCTV, Beijing.
Representatives of Xinjiang Muslims held a press conference in Urumqi on Tuesday, which was attended by journalists from over 20 domestic and overseas media groups. The Muslims said the violence in Urumqi is a separatist issue, not a religious one.
The violence is not a religious issue. We're here to represent all the Muslims in Xinjiang, and what these separatists did went against the Quran.
Human rights and the rights to education of all ethnic groups are being respected and protected. The government has taken effective measures, and we believe that the life and production will soon return to normal in Urumqi.
Overseas Chinese have expressed their anger and condemnation against the violence in Urumqi. Let's take a look.
On behalf of our committee, I express my strongest condemnation to the serious violence criminal incidents in Xinjiang.
Many innocent civilians were hurt or killed. It is very hurtful to the people from our motherland and to us overseas Chinese.
We can see this as an overseas organized incident with premeditation and planning.
We think the rioters are very cruel. The people they hurt were innocent civilians.
We feel great pain, especially seeing so many innocent people, police and children losing their lives during the violence. Overseas Chinese women in Europe are very angry.
We will reflect the heartfelt strong support for the Chinese government and objection to the separatists from overseas Chinese.
We believe our government will handle it properly. Stability is the foundation of the construction of our country, and I hope our country will get stronger.
Xinjiang public security officials say the July 5th riot in Urumqi was linked to a fight at a toy factory in Shaoguan, Guangdong province late last month. Production has resumed in the factory.
The Uyghur toy factory has a workforce of 16,000. A dispute between workers from Xinjiang and Guangdong led to a massive fight involving hundreds of people on June 26th, leaving 2 Xinjiang workers dead, 118 people injured. Local authorities made great efforts to deal with the aftermath. More than 700 Xinjiang workers at the factory were moved to 3 temporary sites in the city after the brawl. In a joint effort, the local government and the factory have since set up a new plant. The factory is equipped with the necessary facilities for the work and life of the Xinjiang employees. The Xinjiang workers say they are satisfied with what the company has offered them. They also condemned the July 5th violent attacks.
They are wrong. What occurred in Shaoguan has nothing to do with ethnic problems.
Please rest assured and do not believe their lies. All the workers have now returned to work. Meng Lingqi, CCTV.
More news ahead. Stay with us.